Philippines.
We are now live at ES News PH. I am Mika Digan.
I am Michael Angel Calape, bringing the best of the best.
Today, June 20, 2023, we will talk about environments and organisms, and that includes natural selection and evolution, kinds of organism interactions, and community and ecosystem interaction.
Now, let us hear first from Mr. Chadi Roy Cartor, the explanation about environment and living organism really mean.
Thank you, Michael. Environment is the place where the organisms live or occupy. Thus, the environment includes all the elements surrounding the organism. Living organisms constantly interact with their environment and adapt to all environmental conditions in order to survive. The environment and organisms are interconnected in a number of ways. Organisms are dependent on the environment for research, such as food, water, and shelter. They also interact with each other in the environment in various ways, such as through predation, competition, and mutualism. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cartor.
As we all know that environments and organisms are interconnected. The question is, how or in what way does these two are interconnected to each other? Let us hear from Ms. Colin Faith Calania.
Thank you, Micah. So how and what ways does environment and organisms interconnected? So they interconnect in a number of ways. Organisms are dependent on their environment for resources of food, water, and shelter. Animals, meanwhile, can alter the physical structure of their environment through activities like burrowing or grazing. Human activities have a particularly significant impact on the environment and the organisms that inhabit it. Pollution, habitat destruction, and climate change are just a few examples of ways in which human activities can disrupt ecosystem and harm the organisms that depend on them. Overall, the relationship between environment and organisms is complex and multifaceted, with each exerting important influences on the other in a delicate balance. And that is how and in what ways are environments and organisms interconnected. Back to you, Micah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Colin.
Since we already know about environments and living organisms and how they interconnected to one another, now we will hear from the natural selection and evolution of environments and living organisms. Let us hear from Mr. Eddie Elimanco and Mr. Fritz Johnson.
So thank you, Michael and Micah, for that wonderful introduction. So natural selection is under the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin, and it is one of the content in his book called The Origin of Species. So I know most of you had a question, so what is natural selection? So natural selection is also called survival of the fittest, in which those organisms that are more adapted to their environment are more likely to survive and pass on their genes that aided their survivability.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Let's proceed the evolution of the environment and organisms. It is a complex and interconnected process that has taken place over billions of years on Earth. It involves the interactions between living organisms and their surroundings, resulting in a diversification and adaptation of life forms to changing conditions. So, as life evolved on Earth, ecosystems began to form, comprising interconnected communities of organisms and their physical environments. As years passed by, adaptation is the key of evolution, enabling organisms to survive and reproduce in a changing environmental conditions through traits that enhance their fitness.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elimanco and Mr. Johnson.
Now let us proceed to kind of organisms interactions. Ms. Genevieve de la Cruz and Mr. Dana Ingalan, go ahead.
Parasitism. One entity benefits from other entities that is harmed but not necessarily killed. The entity that is harmed is the host, and the one benefited is the parasites. When the host is killed, this type of behavior referred to as parasitism. These parasites can be living on the surface of the host addressed as ectoparasites, while endoparasites is live on the inside of the host. Mutualism. Both species involved in the interaction are benefited. This interaction takes place in three patterns. First is the facultative mutualism. species survive on their own under favorable conditions. Second is the obligate mutualism. One species is dependent for survival of the other. Third is the diffusive mutualism. One entity can live with multiple partners. Amensalism. In this type of interaction, one population finds itself in danger, the other population is not majority affected. For instance, tall and wide plants hinder the growth of the comparatively smaller plants. Some plants even secret some success that repress the growth of the nearby plants in order to remove competition. Genevieve de la Cruz reporting.
Competition and predation are two important concepts in biological. Competition is a biological interaction between organism or species in which both are harmed by the presence of the other. Predation, on the other hand, is a biological interaction where one organism, the predator, kills and eats another organism, the prey. Commensalism, it is an imbalanced type of interaction wherein one entirely benefits while the other is neither harmed nor benefited. There are four types of commensal association. Equilinism, an tightly occupies the living habitat of another species. Chemical commensalism, a bacteria produces a chemical which nurtures another bacteria. Per se, an organism tentatively attaches itself to another entirely for transportation requirements. Metabiosis, one entirely is dependent on the other for survival.
Thank you, girls.
Now, let us hear how community and ecosystem interacts with each other. Now let us hear from Mr. Rajan Jude Chini.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, how community and ecosystem interact with each other? Well, the ecosystem provide various services to the community, such as pollination, water purification, climate regulation, and nutrient cycling. These services are essential for human well-being and are often taken for granted. A healthy ecosystem with high biodiversity can provide more resilient and sustainable services to support the community. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chini. We have heard that how living organisms work in the natural selection. Now, without one, everything goes down.
That's right, Michael. From the intricate ecosystems to delicate interdependencies, the intricate dance between environments and organisms reveals the profound interconnectedness of life in our planet, highlighting the urgent need for sustainable practices and collective stewardship to preserve the delicate balance and ensure a thriving future for both nature and humanity.
This is ES News PH, bringing the best of the best.
My name is Mika Digan.
And Michael Angel Calape, reporting.